Hey, what's up everybody? It's Coach Matt, EliteThrowsCoaching.com, coming to you today, continuing our series on the top 10 mistakes and corrections for glide shot put. Today is video number 8. Video number 8 talks about something that is wildly misunderstood by a lot of throwers and a lot of coaches out there, and that is the block. So before we get into it, as always, please remember to subscribe to this channel by clicking that link right down below, and to also click the notification bell right next to it. If you like the video, please go ahead and give it a like and leave a comment. If you have any questions, you can comment right down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible, or you can go right to our website, EliteThrowsCoaching.com, and you can sign us or fill out the email down below, and that gets right to my email address. Okay, so here we go with our video number 8 on common faults and corrections, the block in the glide shot put. Blocking is one of the most misunderstood parts of not just glide shot, but also discus, rotational shot, hammer, weight, and javelin. Blocking is going to appear in every single throwing event. So we want to take some time today, because it's going to appear again when we do discus and rotational shot in a few weeks, but we want to talk a little bit more about glide shot, what the block actually is, if you don't have a good block, how to get a good block, and sort of what role that plays in the full throw. So here's how I want you to think of the actual glide shot put throw. I want you to think of it just like a car accident. Okay? And I want you to think back, for the young ones out there, you might not recall, but there used to be television commercials trying to get you to buckle your seatbelt. And they had the crash test dummies. And the crash test dummies are these two talking crash test dummies that were in the front seat of the car. And they said, don't be a dummy, buckle your safety belt. And what they would do is they'd be behind the wheel of the car, they would accelerate the car, smash the car into a wall, and the crash test dummies would keep flying through the windshield because they didn't have their seatbelts on. That's how I want you to think of the glide shot. You are the car. The thrower is the car. We are accelerating, just like that car in the crash test dummy commercials. We are accelerating across that circle. But when we get to the end of that circle, we have to hit the wall. If we don't hit the wall, energy is not going to transfer into the ball. And the ball, like the crash test dummies, are not going to go flying into that sector. So we need to somehow transfer all of our momentum, all of our force from the actual glide and the movement of the throw, transfer that into the shot put to gain the maximum amount of distance. Contrary to what a lot of coaches out there think, blocking is not just pulling in the non-throwing arm. So I've got the camera set up this way to show you. Okay, when you get into that power position and you go to throw, blocking is not just the left arm. So if you're in that power position, you're getting ready to throw, and you just are like this, a lot of coaches are going to say, well, just pull that left arm in. Just yank that left arm around. We're talking about elbowing the mugger. You know, someone's behind you in a chokehold. You want to elbow them as hard as possible. But that's not it. It's not just a movement that's done with the upper body with that left arm. Blocking is done with the entire non-throwing side of your body. So for me as a right-handed thrower, I'm going to block not just with my left arm, but with my entire left side. I'm going to show you what it looks like right now. Now, one of these we've actually already talked about before, and it's when you land in the power position. You get in your power position, okay, all your weight is back. You've got most of the weight, or almost all the weight, on this right leg. You've got the head back, shoulders back, left arm back. You're wound up in this power position. From here, we've landed in the power position. We're going to ground our left foot, our blocking foot. So we're going to turn, we're going to ground and stop that blocking foot. So we're going to slam, touch that left foot, that blocking foot, down on the circle. That is what initiates the block. The block does not start when you're facing down the sector ready to throw. The block begins with that left side, with that left foot, by grounding it by the toe board. So I wore my gray shoes today to show some contrast rather than my black ones that I normally have on. But but I'm going to pull my pants up so you can see a little bit better. Power position, we're going to ground that foot. We're going to drop that left foot, and that essentially stops us. That's like the bumper of the car hitting the wall. That's the initial, the first part of our body that stops. Is we want that left foot to turn and ground and initiate that block. Now, once that left foot grounds and initiates that block, the rest of our body has to continue to transfer power into that throw and to transfer energy by blocking into that implement, into that shot put. So here's what it looks like. When we go through that power position, we're landing out of that glide, we're transitioning out of that glide from here. We're going to ground. Now at this point, what starts to happen? I like to see my left arm and my right leg work in concert with each other. I like to have them both go at the same time. Okay, so I'm working on taking my right heel, my right knee, my right hip, and my left arm, and we're going to start to open up down that throwing sector. We're going to start to turn and open down that throwing sector. Okay, so at this point, you can see what's starting to happen. I'm starting to move that weight that was all the way back on our right is going to start to move onto our left. We're going to transfer energy. We're going to transfer our weight from the right side onto the left side. That transferring of weight at this point, you can see what's happening. Grounded the left. We're pushing onto a stiff left leg. We're working the hips around, and everything here has stopped. We're not bending the leg and falling forward. We're not going to one side. We're not falling to the other side. Everything here has stopped. And it continues to stop as we move forward. So we're here. Ground. Open. Everything starts to go this way. Open. Pull. Right from here, everything has stopped. The only thing left is the upper body. So my hips, everything stops. We're not going to continue going forward. Everything here has stopped. So if your leg is bent and bouncy, you're not going to transfer energy. If you don't ground and you continue just to turn around on the foot, you're not going to transfer energy. If you ground stiff, but you continue to twist your body, you're not going to transfer energy. Everything on this left side is stopping. From here, this is where you want to take that non-throwing arm. Bring that non-throwing arm down by your side. From there, we can continue pushing the ball. At this point, we have transferred all of our weight from the right side, our power leg, onto our blocking leg. Everything here is stiff. We're not over-rotating. We're not pulling that left arm back behind us like a sprinter running. We're working on stopping everything right here. The entire left side has stopped and has allowed energy to transfer through our body from the ground up into the shot and allowed that shot to go as far as possible. All right, so you've got an athlete who is not doing a good job blocking. That's sort of a big problem to have, and not just because it affects the throw in a huge way. It's a big problem to have because that lack of blocking could be happening anywhere from his feet all the way up to his shoulder and arm. So you need to identify where that lack of a block is happening. Some great ways to identify it. Number one, if he's throwing and that leg has a super bend in it, and he's kind of just melting like a candle and mushing, as Coach Aldrich always used to say, mushing out the front of the circle. Well, then he probably has an issue with keeping this leg stiff, or he's just not grounding the heel and he's coming all the way over. Okay? The majority of what we see with our athletes is, number one, they're not doing a good job grounding. They're landing in the power position and they're just kind of spinning and throwing without ever putting the heel down. So we want to make sure the heel is going down. You can drill this right in your standing throw positions and right in your warm-ups at practice. Just make sure your athletes, before they throw, they ground, ground, ground and throw. We already talked about that drill, but it's a little bit different focus for when you do this. Okay, maybe it's where the hips are just over rotating. The hips are twisting down the middle of that throw, or down the left sector line when you're in the middle of that blocking phase. So we're here, we've come around, and now we're starting to twist and over rotate and twist our hips over to the left side. Great way of doing this is just with your release drills during practice. Just having them set up with their feet here, having them work on getting up on the ball of that back foot, and just pulling and pushing. Getting them in the habit of staying tall. A coach from Holy Cross, Coach Kavanaugh, used to always say, feel your right butt cheek clench. So feel that right butt cheek kind of pushing and popping those hips up a little bit, okay? Sometimes the block is with the upper body. Now this is one that we see quite a bit as well. Usually it's the lack of grounding to start the block, and it's the lack of pulling the non-throwing arm in to finish the block. So we already said we want to make sure the arm's not back here, dumping you forward like a sprinter, pulling that arm back. If you have athletes that are either going too far back, they're going too far out to the side, they're not blocking at all, or they're blocking way up here, and they're not getting that good block right down the middle. My favorite way to tell people to block correctly is to punch yourself in the shoulder. So most throwers are bigger athletes. I'm kind of average size for a thrower. I'm 6'3", about 245 right now. So if I tried to punch myself in the shoulder, oh, I did it, in the shoulder, it would be really hard to punch myself in the shoulder. I really have to try to bend my knuckles in, and then finally I can make contact, just graze my shoulder. For people that are even bigger than me, it's gonna be really hard to do that. Okay, so I like to tell athletes, punch yourself in the shoulder. Now I'm going to show you facing the camera so you can see it, and then I'm going to show you this way so you can get a better view. So when we're going through that throw and we're here, okay, punch yourself in the shoulder. What are we trying to do? Well, you're not going to punch yourself in the shoulder like this. There's no way you're going to hit yourself. No way you can get in there. Okay, you're not going to be up here, and you're not going to be down there. Punch yourself in the shoulder. We want to try to get our knuckles, not the top knuckles, but right here, the knuckles in the middle of our finger, to punch ourselves in the shoulder. And that's what we're looking for, is to pull that arm in. Same way as if you were going to do a bench press or if you were going to do a push-up. Okay? You want it here. Not up there. You're not going to do push-ups like that. Not out here. Not going to do a push-up like that. You want the push-up right here. And if I turn sideways, you can see the elbow's not going behind my body. It's not like this going behind my body. I'm trying to punch myself in the shoulder, and it's coming down right here. So I like to say punch yourself in the shoulder. So in full speed, here's what it looks like. We're going to ground. We're going to open up our left arm. We're going to close our right side, our lower right side. We're going to punch ourselves in the shoulder. And then I'm going to delay and really have a big delay on that throw so you can see it. Okay? So we're going to start here. Back, power position, okay, everything we've talked about. Eyes are back, okay, left hand is back, shoulders are back, shots up against the neck. We're going to ground first, so watch for the ground. Ground, ground. And then it's ground open, ground open, ground open, ground open, and pull. Push. Ground open. Push. Ground open. Push. Ground open. Push. Okay? Now my feet, from doing the drill over and over again, my foot did move over quite a bit as I kept repeating, but the goal is still the same. Ground, slap that arm open, and then pull that hand in, pull that elbow down like you're trying to punch yourself in the shoulder. That visual cue should explain to your athletes, making sure that they are blocking from the ground all the way up to their shoulder and transferring as much energy as possible into that shot. Well, that does it from here. I am beat. It is like 9:30 at night on Monday night. Woke up this morning to a foot of snow on the ground. I've been shoveling all day, coaching kids in here all day. School was canceled. But man, what a crazy, crazy day. I love making these videos for all of you, and I am not going to stop, but I need your help and I need your support if we're going to keep doing things like getting better cameras and better microphones and all that stuff that you all have been asking for so long. So first things first, end of this video, there's going to be a bunch of stuff that pops up on the screen. One of them is for you to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to subscribe and click that notification bell. It helps a ton to get the word out to other coaches and throwers out there. Also, there's going to be a link to our overnight throws camp happening at Allegheny College in Meadville, Pennsylvania. It's out near Erie, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh kind of area, okay? This is our 5th year at this camp. It sells out every single year. There are only 70 spots available. We are limited by the size of the throwing area, and we already have 27 spots sold. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot. It sounds like there's tons of room, but there's not. We sold out last year by the end of April, and we did not start advertising until the end of February. This year, I started advertising in January, and we already have 27 spots sold. So make sure this stuff's going to pop up on the screen. Okay, over here on this side, I think I'm going to put the subscription button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Over here, I'm going to put the link to the camp. Make sure to check that out. Thank you all so much for your support. Make sure to check back in next week, and we will be going over the second to last, and possibly the last, if I can get both videos in, of the 10-part series that we've been doing here on Glide Shot. I hope you all had a great indoor season, and I will talk to you really, really soon.